everyone, Ranjit this side. So in this video, we'll be going through programming with SQL. When we think about doing analysis over the data in the database, what we normally does, we fetch the data from the SQL, let's say from the table or the database into the backend of the programming language, let's say R or Python or any other programming language, and then we do the calculations in the on the website, or let's say web application. But what most of the developers, or let's say the beginners, doesn't know that most of the SQL analysis, or let's say the mathematical analysis, can be done on the SQL side itself. What you can do, either you can create a view out of that particular table, or you can even create customized functions with the help of couple of, let's say, built-in mathematical functions. And once you have the data with the help of those analysis or calculations, then you can retrieve the data into your website and then do the rest of the work. So what we will be covering, we will cover some of the most likely, or let's say most frequently used built-in mathematical functions, and we will try to execute them on the SQL server itself rather than going back to the programming world, right? So let's start with, I would say, the absolute functions, absolute as well as, let's say, the sign functions. So let's say we have select. So how do you run? Basically, you write select, like we used to do all the time, and then let's say absolute 10 as module of 10. Okay. I mean, alias we can give anything. So and then let's say absolute of minus 10. So when you run this, you will get basically 10 and 10. The reason being, absolute function makes whatever the sign is, it's in, or let's say the numbers are it into a positive value, right? So in the similar way, we have a sign as well. So let's run this as, let me comment this. So instead of apps, I would say sign. Let me capitalize this, sign. And then we have sign over here. Let me change this, sign, right? So let's try to run this one and then see. So basically it's so if the number is positive, then the sign function will return 1, and if it is negative, then it will return the -1, right? So for an example, let's say if it is like 250 and then you have 150 or 1500. So basically, if it is positive, it will give you 1, and if it is negative, then it will give you -1. So that's how it is. So it can be used when you are, let's say, doing a Boolean kind of solution, when you want to check a data whether it's a negative or the positive ones. Normally, this is being used on large data sets just to do the further analysis. Otherwise, you won't be using it very frequently. But it depends. If you know such functions exist, then for sure you will use it. If you don't, then you will never use it, right? So yeah. Now the next one is rand function, right? This is kind of a cool function because it returns a float number between 0 and 1, excluding 0 and 1. And this is the only, I would say, the non-deterministic mathematical function in SQL. So let me just run select rand, right? And as, let's say, array rands. Now, every time when you run, it will be a different value, right? So, but like I said, it will give you or return a float value between 0 and 1, excluding 0 and 1, right? But if you pass a seed, let me run this again, and I would give 100, let's say, right? And then run this. So now if you see, it will not change, right? It will stay as it is. So this is different. So earlier it was 0.71, 0.54. Now if you see, even though it is changing, I mean, it's the values change, but here the output is not, or the return value is not changing. It remains constant, right? So that is a difference between the rand and with a seed being passed and without a seed being passed. Okay. See, now the next one that we have is exponent. So let's say select exponent, let's say 10, right, as exponent of 10. Then let me just write down some more functions. Then we have square root, select sqrt of let's say 5, right, as sqrt of 5, right. Then we have, let's say, square. So we have square, right, of I want of 2, let's say, as square of 2, right. I will run all these together, and then we have power of zero point 0.5. So let's say power, and then we are passing an expression which is, let's say, 8, and then I'm passing it as a power is somewhere, let's say, 0.5, and then we have as power of 8, right. Then we have, let me give one more example. Select, let me just copy this, power of 2, which is again, let me pass it as 2, and of, right. Let me run this now. So the exponent of 10 will give you 22,026. Then we have square root is 2.23 of 5. Then we have square of 2, which is 4. Then we have power of 8.05, which is 2, of course. And then we have power of 2 to raise 2, which is again 4. So these are the, I would say, you can easily use all these built-in functions in your query, in your view, and then for sure you can utilize it. Now we have couple of log functions as well. So I'll just write it. If you know these what these functions does, then it will be easy for you. So I would say log. So if you know what log does, then of course it will be easy. If you don't know what log does, then I cannot do much as log 10. Let's say again, now I'm saying log of 10, let's say. Then so this is what log 223 will give you, and log 10 to 23 will give you, right? ACE. Then we have pi. Everyone knows what is pi. We don't pass anything as input. So pi, the value of pi is 3.14159. So I only need 3.54. Right, as let's say pi well, right. Then we have, let's say, sine. Let's pass a sine to this, or now let's do kind of different approach. Now if I pass, let's say, sine to this, you can use sine as well, huh? So sine of pi, right, sine of pi, then cos, then we have tan. I think tan should be there, and if I pass tan, let's run these. So these will be the output. So sine of pi is to 1.22, sine of cos is -1, and then sine of tan of pi is minus 1.22. So yeah. Now what you can also do, you can just convert, or let's say you can round these off, right? So let's say let me copy this. Okay, see. Now, let's say we are rounding it. You already know round because we have done round earlier. So I would say to 2 decimal places, right? So, and then round sine pi of 2 decimal places. Cos is just -1. So I wouldn't say that you need to round it, right? So round tan pi is again 2. And then if you run this, so you will get on the 2 decimal places. So basically 0, -1, and 1. So why it became 0, -1, and 0? The reason being, I'll show you something. So sorry, undo and uncomment. So see, this was 3.1, oh sorry, 1.22, right? So basically it's rounding up or rounding down. So there is no point of having the rest of the thing. So that's why it's 0, 1, -1, and right. So it's a round function that can use. So yeah, so this is what some of the inbuilt functions for the programming, I would say, you can use in SQL. Right. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I know I don't ask much, but I would really appreciate if you could like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.